I am having a very cool guest today. We have met in real life. Her name is Aileen, and she should be on any second. Just see a little message from her. She owns Empowered Aerial Fitness Studio, which is a studio that has pole dancing, among other things. And let me see if she's here. And we just met like, I don't know, a couple of months ago because my daughter, who should have her driver's license but doesn't yet, had a friend visiting from college and said, "Oh, can you take us? There's like this pole dancing class and we need a ride." And so I took her and I had to wait outside, and it was so cool. They had all this really amazing music, and here she is. All right, Aileen, I see you. I'm going to invite you to teachers there. And then I met Aileen, and I was like, this amazing community, and I need some upper body strength, like more than I have, because I do a lot of stuff with legs instead. And so, hey, Aileen, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I just want to say that we got a comment on this morning's post, which was you doing a little routine, and she said that she joined a pole dance studio 22 months ago, and it was the best decision she ever made for herself in her life. So I thought that would be a beautiful way to start this conversation, because I know you have a history that connects with this. So how about you introduce who you are and see how you can connect it to what I just said.
Okay, so my name is Aileen, as you said, and I'm a mother of 5, divorced for 8 years, and I started pole dancing in 2013. As I was saying, I have 5 kids, and my kids were old enough that they were getting into school. So a friend of mine said, "Hey, let's go take a pole dancing class." And I said, "I will be amazing at that," because I danced and did gymnastics my whole life. And I went to the class, and it was by far and away the unsexiest, most humbling thing I ever did. But I said, I'm going to keep doing that. And my experience with that studio was, it was a community of mostly women who just came together for whatever reasons, for whatever goals for themselves, and just danced. Sometimes we worked hard. Sometimes we were being silly. Sometimes we were just dancing for fun. Sometimes we were crying. But came together in such a way that that little community and that little studio really got me through my divorce. There's really no other way to put it. So I started this studio we opened in August of 2019. And I will really say that my number one goal for the studio, more than anyone getting fit or learning to dance or pole dance or anything, my number one goal for the studio was really, I needed to be a happy community that is for its people what my studio was to me, which was a way to connect with myself and my the other people in the studio, and really to just enjoy myself again in a way that I had not as a mom for so many years only. And then as a mom and a wife that was going through the end of a marriage, which can be quite debilitating, or it's just hard to get through, and you lose yourself in it. And it became a way for me to find myself.
Yeah. Well, you're talking to an audience of not only people who are dealing with divorce and separation, but extreme divorce, separation, custody battles, and co-parenting hell. So this is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Now I know that like when I was saying that my daughter took a class, and I thought this would be so cool, and I need to do some more upper body stuff. And I also did gymnastics, and I do dance. I actually just came back from my hip hop dance class. And so I too thought, okay, but I was like, this is going to be easy. Oh my gosh, it was awful, and threw up after class.
Yes, that's not, you're not alone.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. But so it's and I also said to you, and you said a lot of women come in and they're like, I don't need to be sexy. And I should also mention that the two of us, along with a woman named Melissa Panitz, who's a divorce journalist and has a radio show, are planning an in-person event in January. And as we were talking about promoting it, Alyssa had the idea of something like kind of becoming sexy again. And you were like, absolutely not. Can you talk about why you don't think that that should be pushed to people who are thinking about doing pole dancing? Because I think in everyone's head, they're like, oh, that's for like sexy stripper.
Right. I mean, clearly the stigma, the stereotype of pole dancing is strippers, which is not necessarily the origins of pole dancing. You know, many people will claim it was started with Chinese acrobats, you know, hundreds of years ago, and is still used by them in a very different way. Then there is also that stripper stigma. So that is the stigma around it. And then people instantly say to themselves, but I'm not any of those things. I'm not young enough, fit enough, any of those things. They don't envision themselves that way, first of all. Second of all, it kind of furthers that stereotype. And no disrespect to anybody in any industry, but that pole is just a piece of metal. That's all it is. And strippers can do plenty of things on floors and chairs that are very sexy and sexual and stripper-esque. And those things are not now called stripper floors and stripper chairs.
Right,
So I try to disconnect it and just make it be for everybody just what it is, which is a piece of metal for you to use for your workout and your movement however you want. Now, if you come in and you're like, I want to get that on, that's great. But that's not the only outcome that you can be seeking. And I find, you know, just through my own personal experience and the experience of women as they're coming through the studio, sometimes at the end of marriage, the last thing you want to be is sexy. It's not about, I don't even want to be sexy right now, because I don't want to be feeling attractive or attracting my spouse or anyone else. And it's just not a priority. And so why would I want to go do some workout that's sexy? I'm trying to just keep myself and my kids together and functional through a difficult time and a transition. And then, so there's those things. And then I would also say that for some people, sexy is something that they have very much repressed, right? It's so ingrained in American society that women should be objectified, sexualized. You should look this way. You should fill your lips. You should do your Botox. You should lose weight. You should do all of these things to be attractive and sexy. And it's all over. But then if you actually try to, you're also, especially in this area of the country, you're also supposed to be very much prim and proper and lady and behave a certain way. And people can't really step out of that. And they don't have the space to even discover that, right? So as I will say to people, you know, don't worry about the sexy. Whatever preconceived notion you have of sexy need not apply here. This can just be about your movement, your joy, your confidence. You'll find it. And when you do, it won't matter how you look because you will become sexy through your confidence more than just some stereotypical, I achieved some look that I'm supposed to achieve. It's not what it's about. The sexiest people on earth, it has nothing to do with their size, shape, color, age, nothing. It has to do with how confident they are. And that's what we're really going for. That's what I want people to have, to be empowered to feel however they want to feel.
Yeah. And it's not even just the confidence is huge, but you had a show, what was it now, like a couple months ago? Because the next one's in December. The athleticism was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
Yeah.
Just absolutely incredible. Yeah. Like beautiful, strong, like acrobatic, amazing.
It is a badass thing to do. In fact, tonight, one of our women who's my age, who's divorced, came, and she's one of our most advanced students that she practically lives at the studio. She came running around out of the pole studio tonight, and she looked at me at the desk, and she goes, look at this. And she had this huge bruise on her bicep. She's like, this is from Sunday. And she was so excited about it because like, the twisted thing is, it's hard whether you're doing the hoops or the hammock or the pole. It is a hard thing against your body that leaves a mark, whether it's like a burn kind of sensation or just a binding sensation or bruises or whatever. And when you first start, you're like, oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
I don't like that, but you want to keep going. And I tell people all the time, I say, watch it, because eventually you're going to come into the studio and go, I have no bruises. I need a new skill. Like I need a new badge of honor. So it's like this twisted thing that we all go through. It's definitely hard. Um, it's definitely hard on the body, but also amazing for the soul. So, and really amazing for the body too. If you just handle your body correctly, give it some love and some patience.
Yeah, yeah. So, when we first talked about this conversation, I was saying that people in our community are dealing with a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
So it's not even just the pressure to be sexy and everything else. Like they're getting out of these relationships if they even can get out.
Yeah.
Um, and they're dealing with trauma. And I know sometimes people don't want to talk. Like when I first started working out at the end of my marriage, in this class that I was in, it was kickboxing. I didn't talk to anybody for like 9 months,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt better. Can you get into how dance is a way maybe that can help people start to heal from some of that
I
trauma?
mean, to me, it is absolutely my therapy. And I find that for myself, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes I'm feeling mad or sad or something, and I'm like, I just need to go to the studio and dance this out. It's a very safe place and way to express whatever emotion you have. I mean, sometimes when I'm dancing, I will literally be like, I will smack the floor, I will clap my heels together, I will have, dramatic, loud, aggressive movement, and also sometimes just very sad or tired, literally tired movement where I'm like, all I'm going to do right now is roll side to side on this floor and just feel my body moving and keep breathing. And I think all dance really just provides an outlet for you to move in whatever way you're feeling. And 100% of the time for me, when I'm done, no matter how little I've done, and this has been 2023 has been for me a year of mucho medical stuff. So for me, no matter how little I move, um, if I move my body in a way that feels good, that's a success for me. Like, check the box on the success. I moved today, and that is always good for the soul. Anything that I can do for myself, that I can go to bed tonight and check a box and say, I did something for myself. I moved my body, even if all I did was stretch my body. And even if I stretched my body to the music in a way that felt a little extra good and expressed my emotions and my needs to just vent out my thoughts through my body and movement, and I can get up after that workout and go to bed that night and say I moved my body, I took time for myself, and I felt better when I was done. Like, that's a good thing.
Yeah, and we always talk about how the body keeps score. That's the title of the book too.
Very
The
much.
trauma is stored in the body. So what you're talking about, it's almost like it's a way to possibly release it. Another thing I'm thinking about is how many of us in these difficult situations are disconnected from our body.
Yes.
We're just kind of moving along, and that what you're talking about seems like a way to reconnect with your body because you're so focused on how you
Yeah.
feel,
You
whether
know,
it hurts or it feels
yeah.
good.
I mean, it's, well, the other part of the whole magic, especially of my studio, but I really feel of most aerial studios that I've ever been to, is the community. And that has serious medicinal and therapeutic values. But also the fact that when you go into a dance class, now I will take it one further and say any exercise class you do for yourself, because I will always say at the end of the day that the most effective workout is the one that you actually do. But if you find one that actually brings you joy and connects with you and you leave feeling happy, like, that's the magic. And when you are going through a traumatic experience and walking into your house is stressful. Like, I can remember walking in my house and it just feels buzzy with tension and what's going
Mm-hmm.
to happen tonight. Um, or when you are dealing with the sadness of taking care of kids and trying to negotiate and navigate your kids through this experience as well, and everything becomes about everybody else. You take that hour or however long it is, and that's your time, and you can pretend and escape in any way that you want to. That is your time. In fact, I just had a woman come to me the other day and say, I really want to bring my friends to the studio. I'd love to. I live in Westchester. And she's like, but you know what? I don't want to, because this is my place where I'm not that. I'm this. And I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like I want to protect it. And I'm like, you don't have to bring your friends. Like, you say no more. This can be your safe place where you escape from whatever kind of life you have, and you want to come here and you just shut all of that out. And this is a space where you become who you want to be. That's what you should do. Um, and you should be able to, where you hopefully receive the privilege of getting to shut everything out, focus on yourself, and leave feeling a little better than you did when you came in.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's sometimes magic in a day.
Oh, definitely. Now, another thing we talked about was how it's different going to a gym to work out
Hmm.
versus coming to a studio like yours.
Yes.
How?
That is critical for me, and I'm constantly talking about that with my staff and my work studies and everybody. You know, you can go to a gym and exercise your body anywhere. Yoga studio, you can walk in, no one knows your name, no one even looks up from the desk maybe, or maybe there's no one at the desk. And you walk in and you do your workout, you're maybe on your phone the whole time, headphones on, and then you leave and you never had any sort of human connection. And that's fine. But what this is a community. And it's very important to me that when people come in, someone knows their name, someone takes the time to connect with them. So when they leave, I'm like, hey, goodbye. You know, like they can't leave without, no one leaves anonymously.
She really is. Like, you really are. You have to say that.
I'm like, well, you're talking to me. Um,
Right.
and when we do classes, I'm constantly encouraging my instructors, and most of them do, like, introduce people by their names, ask them a question, break the ice. I want it to be and we're always cheering for each other and screaming for each other and spotting each other and hoisting each other up, and literally physically, like, I got you. I don't know how I'm going to hold you up, but I'm not letting you hit the ground. From that kind of lifting each other up to literally cheering. There is never a night that goes by that I don't hear hooting, hollering, screaming in the classes ridiculously because someone's touched the ceiling for the first time or gone upside down for the first time or who knows what. But that's what makes it different, is because you have a whole community around you that is like just as invested in your success as they are in their own. Because a success for you means, hey, maybe I'm going to do it too. And now we're in it together. And that's
Yeah.
a whole level of fun.
Right. And it's not just fun, but again, people in these situations are very isolated. This community tends to be very isolated, feeling like I don't know how I can even function. So we know also that communities help people heal faster
Mhm.
and better.
Mhm.
And so I think it is important for anyone who's listening, if you're not going to do pole dancing, do something where if you're not even exercising, you need to have a community.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a community to talk about your trauma.
Nope.
That's super helpful. And, we deal with that. But this is something that's totally different because not only does it not involve talking about your trauma, but the pleasure hormone.
Yeah.
Exercise creates pleasure hormone.
Yes. And it doesn't look, there is a time and a place for talking about trauma. And I'm 100% behind the amazing benefits in therapy and talk and sharing and connecting with words. But this is connecting on a very anonymous but a very connected level. And it's so funny when we run into each other somewhere outside the studio, or if I come in and I'm in clothes and people are like, what's that? You have to do a double take and be like, wait, who are you? Oh, you have clothes on, and because we almost come in and we don't know anything about each other, but we get very vulnerable together. Most women don't want to strip down to basically a bra and panties, which is the pole side. You don't do that on the with the aerial yoga and the hammocks. But with the pole, if you're going to work on the pole, you're going to need to get your skin out. And we don't like that. We're taught that that's shameful, and I don't like my body and my cellulite and so on. And you walk into this room and you see every shape and size wearing little shorts and a bra top, and you're like, she looks like she feels pretty good about herself. Maybe I should. And then we start yelling at each other and cheering because that jiggled so well or whatever. And next thing you know, like, are they jiggling? Are they yelling for my thigh jiggle? Like, I could do that all day. So it's this ridiculous sense of joy that we're all participating in together and lift each other up. And I think that how the whole saying about, receiving gifts is great, but giving gifts is better. Lifting up the people in the room with you and being a part of that joy is intensely therapeutic. and doesn't have to involve talking about your trauma or exposing your trauma. In that room, you're just a badass who's there doing the same thing as everyone else. You're literally stripped down doing stuff that you're like, huh? You know, that doesn't make sense what you're telling me to do. But we're in this battle and we lift each other up, and you leave that room and you've got your endorphins, you feel good, you accomplish something no matter how little it was. I tell people, I don't care what little tiny thing it was, accomplish something. And now you take that home with you. And now you've put something into your day that no one else was going to put into your day for you. And that might make you stand a little taller and feel a little better and approach all of the rest of the battles you're facing with a little more confidence and just faith in yourself.
Right. And it's something you have control over.
Absolutely, that you have control over. That is critical, that you are completely in charge of. Although I will tell you, when you go into a pole class and you look at your instructor and say, oh, I can't, like, it's on. Because now, like for me, and I know my staff, I will be on a mission to make this thing happen and prove to you that you can. So, I mean, yes, you have control, but we will make sure that you get whatever you need to get done. Like there's nothing better than seeing someone go from, I can't do that, to crushing it. Like that's the good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So tell us a couple of stories of your favorite moments at the studio, because I know you had shared a couple. I know you're talking about people having a love affair with themselves.
I mean, this is what I see all the time. It's my favorite thing about the studio. I've been seeing this since I was teaching, since I was taking classes. I remember when I started taking classes with a group of women just like me, moms in their 40s and 50s, all backgrounds and ages, shapes, sizes, all of that. And I got a pair of shoes, the loose side, like platform shoes, and I got a little pair of 4-inchers. They weren't crazy, but I felt really, proud of myself. And my one of my dear friends, who became one of my friends through the studio, looked at me and she was like, well, I want shoes too. So she went and got herself a pair of 6-inchers. And she always was in class with like a tennis skirt and a little top on, never anything more than that, very conservative. And one day she wore her shoes to class and the instructor was giving instructions. So we're all listening to the instructor, and I'm looking at my friend next to me and she's just in the mirror, like looking at her legs and looking this side. And she's like, have you seen my legs? And I'm like, I have seen your legs. She's like, they look amazing. And I said, they do look amazing. And she was like, I'm going to vacuum in these shoes. And I was like, I mean, it was so amazing to see this woman who is just a plain old woman on the outside of the studio. But in that moment, she was the most beautiful woman in the world. She was so in love with how she looked and how her legs looked. And
she had never seen herself.
Like she'd never
like
seen herself or looked at that way in these, these shoes, and just lit up from that. Or I have one of my other favorite stories is a woman who would come to class and, she was a curvy girl. And we tend to, as curvy girls, keep covered up and baggy and loose and stay clothed and stay back here. And she would come to the studio and she never wanted to take her shirt off. And and just have her sports bra. She never wanted to do it. And one night I had a big class and I was over helping people, kind of working on, I think we must have been working on climbing, and I'm helping these people over here, and I turn around and she has whipped her shirt off and she is on her way up the pole. And I was like, and we're done, and we're getting a master class over here tonight. And and she has not stopped since. She has performed, she has competed, and she is a light. Whenever she walks in the door, I'm like, you're just a light, because I know that you went on that journey of not feeling great, not feeling confident, and at some point decided to shed it and be like, I'm here for my joy. And that's, I think, the magic for all of us as a pole community, both for our pole sisters, our students, and as instructors, to see that moment where someone says, I'm going to do what I want and I'm just going to have fun. Like that's good stuff.
Okay, so let's say you're in a room, you're in a supermarket, you run into someone, you're telling them what to do, and they're like, well, I'm afraid of starting. What's something that you would say to someone who's like considering doing it for the first time, but is nervous about it?
I get this all the time. because I get the phone calls. In fact, it's funny, you know, the studio is called Empowered. And when I opened it, a woman who owned a studio in Milford, the Girl Spot, was kind of my mentor. And she made very clear to me, like, you're selling permission. It's the most important thing you're selling is
Ooh,
permission. And I
interesting.
thought that was so interesting. And I see that that is so true in so many aspects of the studio. Um, I'm giving you permission to do something that is maybe feels frowned upon, maybe feels like you shouldn't. Maybe you're one of those moms, or you're in such a downtrodden state that you're just like, I don't even deserve to feel good. And the one thing that we're trying to do is make you know that you deserve this time to feel as amazing about yourself as you want to. What was the question? I just lost my train of thought.
Oh no, I said so you
Yes.
answered it.
Oh,
I said someone
yes.
for the first time who's like, I
Yes.
don't
I get
know.
that all the time. And this is what I tell people when they call. They're like, I've gained a little weight. You know, I haven't done anything for a while. I used to dance. I've never danced. My kids are in school now. I just moved to the area, whatever it is. And they're a little concerned, right? So the first thing I'm trying to do is empower them and let them know, like, look, you can come in here. You can do what you want. You want to put on shorts and a little sports bra and run around? Great. You don't ever want to take off your pants? You want to do pants the whole rest of your entire pole career? Great, that's what you should do. This is a place where you are going to come into and meet people who will want to know you. They will want to cheer you on. They will want to support you. They will want to see you feel better. And some of the time, you're going to chance to be the one that makes them feel better. And it is just a piece of metal, and you should do whatever you want with it. And then usually people are like, great, I want to come try and take a class. I'm like, you absolutely should.
Yeah.
I hope it's
Yeah.
for you, you know?
And you're right. I mean, it is like a very interesting bonding experience because my first night there, I made a friend.
Yes.
And now we have our little video of
Uh-huh.
us like together
Yep.
doing our simple little double, what is it, chair,
Uh-huh. The
our
little
little
chair
chair
spin on the
thing.
spindle. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
And
mean,
we're so proud of ourselves.
it's constant. Like my people that work with me, the instructors, my work studies, women who come in, who've moved, who've maybe relocated here for profession or partner or whatever, and they end up now forming these friends group. And then I see their Instagram posts and their stories and whatever, and making these friends. And then they'll send me pictures, and I'm like, that's what the studio's for. Like, that was the number one goal, is I want people who come in the door to leave feeling better than they walked in. If that's possible. Some days it's not. Like, look, some days you're like, I'm in a bad mood, I'm committed, and I'm going to do this all day. But at least you showed up. And if not, if we can get you over the line to feel a little bit better, like, that's the whole entire goal.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. And I don't get to go as often as I'd like because I'm so busy, but I do go, even though I'm trying to work on not throwing up after spinning. Hopefully
You
it'll
know,
get
it's
better.
I told you, it happened to me after so much time off, and I was working on, I wasn't even on a spinning pole, and I was nauseous. So, I mean, there definitely are aspects to it. You're not the only one. We have some pukers. It happens. But we do, like, there are ways to get used to it, or maybe there are things like, for example, I would love to do the spinning hammock. I want to do it so bad. In my body, it's a hard no. Like, if I even so much as lift my feet off the ground and start to spin, it's an absolute hard no. But that's okay, because I'm a pole girl and I'll stay in my lane. But it is definitely a physical challenge. Like, you will come to roadblocks and find a way to get past them and look back and go, wow, I used to get really nauseous on this, and now I don't anymore.
Yeah. I mean, just like we always talk about people going through the court system and noticing progress. So it's not about getting amazing and winning and, being this incredible athlete, which my friend and I were like 10,000 hours, 7 years. Maybe we can do that.
No,
But just
it
making
doesn't take that
progress.
long. I mean, everyone is different. I mean, my body definitely works against me in many aspects, but it is something where there's always progress. And, like, especially when I'm teaching, and I teach a lot of the intro and beginner level classes, and people will say we'll work on something called a fireman spin, which is a forward spin around the pool where you lift both feet up. And I'll have women who are like, they won't lift the second foot up. They won't lift this. I can't. And I'm like, well, now we're gonna. And if nothing else, I'll be like, we'll get them to a place where they had both their feet off the ground for just a second and then come back down. And I'm like, and now you did something you didn't think you could do when you walked in. And if it's that little, if your progress is that little, it doesn't matter. You did something more than you thought you could do, than you knew you could do when you walked in. Now you did. And then they start to be like, I wonder what I could do next time.
Right.
And it's like,
like,
now you're addicted. Now
right.
you're one of us.
Success, like
Mhm.
any little
Yes.
thing that makes people feel
Yes.
triumphant and
Yes.
successful.
Especially when you're outside the studio life, in those times of your life that is really beating you down. Hopefully my studio, or any aerial studio, really, I have to say they're pretty consistent, will be a place that literally lifts you up.
Yeah. So poll is not something that people can do virtually. How can people find you? I know if they're
Yeah.
local, how can they find you?
So,
And also talk about your, because you have social media,
yeah. So
which
we
is
have we have
awesome.
the Instagram, which is empowered_aerial_fitness
Yeah.
on Instagram. And I think it's the same for Facebook, Empowered Aerial Fitness. So we have both of those. My Instagram is kind of like my newsletter. I'm terrible with newsletters. But we post pretty much everything that goes on at the studio. There's little things on the highlights where you can kind of look and see what we're about, what the different instructors are like, what the different apparatus are like. Social media and me are a never ending learning process. The studio is in Stamford, right off exit 9 off 95. It's down it's off of fairly main road, but it's tucked back in an industrial building. But we have a well-lit parking lot right outside the door, free parking. And so in terms of that, it's usually pretty easy to get to. We do have a couple of online flexibility classes, and I keep looking at adding on some more of those because that's an easy thing to do from home. And not all of our classes are aerial. I mean, most of it is pole, not even most of it is pole, I have to say. Like, it's pretty 50-50 between pole, aerial hoop or lyra, and the aerial hammock, aerial yoga. And then we have flexibility classes, liquid motion classes. Sometimes we have salsa, hip hop, feet up trainers, which is like a little inversion stool. It's my favorite little tool that we have. Sometimes I'll do feet up classes or whatever. So I try to make it so that there's something on every day for everybody, regardless of what you're doing. That's the goal.
Great. Okay. So did I forget anything?
I don't think so. I mean, I wish that I could promote our upcoming show, but I can't because we sold out today, 105 tickets, more than we've ever sold, and we never even released them. So
That's
the
amazing.
show coming up is already sold out and waitlist only, and our next one will be in the spring, and those are fun nights. So if you follow the social media and you get a chance to come to one of our recitals, our showcases, those are super inspiring, like you saw.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Belly dancing,
So we have belly dancing, chair dancing.
jazz
We'll do all
dancing.
kinds of stuff. I think I was in a number in September where it was like theater jazz.
Uh-huh.
We did that Rio number, and we were wearing like fringe and
Yes.
nonsense. So there's a little something for everybody. Yeah,
Yes.
it can be whatever you want. It can be whatever you want it to be. You should move how you want.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Aileen, for coming on and hopefully inspiring people
Yes,
to have a love
hopefully.
affair with themselves.
Yes, give me a holler, give Lisa a holler. Come take class with Lisa.
Yeah, we can try to get each other to climb that pole. You saw me get to the top of the
I
pole
did.
for
I
the
saw
first
it.
and
I
only
stood there
time
and cheered.
ever.
I can't remember if I took a video, but it definitely happened. So, and little by little, I'm getting back into teaching too. So hopefully I'll get you in one of my classes soon.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Sounds good. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Have a nice night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.